Hey, don't skip this step. You're in your final home stretch. Make sure you're sanding your project correctly. Keep watching. So over the years, we've created so many videos on sanding on the Sedge Tool channel. This never gets old for me to teach about proper sanding technique, choosing the right sander, choosing the right paper, choosing the right grit. So follow me on this journey as I sand these large panels flat. So one of the questions over the years that I've always gotten was, what grit should I start at? Well, I would always answer it with a simple right back at you. What's your time worth? So you have to analyze, what are you sanding? What are you trying to accomplish? Today, I am leveling this cherry layup, glue up panel we laid up, I think in December, and I need to flatten it or level it. I'm not gonna start like a typical woodworker would with 80 grit. I want to get the job done of leveling, and then my job after that with 60 is to remove the grit pattern of 40 grit. I'm going to start with 40 and then go to 60, then 80, 120. And when I say, what's your time worth? If I had started with 80, which is a typical woodworker, it used to be me, I would spend so much daggone time trying to level this, where I'll be finished in half the time if I start with 40. So the other choice I make when I'm starting, I'll be using my Rotex sander. I'll talk about different sanders in a few minutes. But I choose the right pad. I am trying to flatten, level this piece. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 boards glued up. If I use this, and it's the black backing pad, this is the one that comes with the Rotex, what happens is this may follow the undulation. So I right away go to the blue pad, which is the hard pad. That way there, it will fair the surface and give you a great dead flat surface. So when I talk about choosing the right sander, I always go for the Rotex RO 150. 150 is basically a 6-inch pad. The reason I go with a 6-inch pad versus a 5-inch pad, it's not that it's an inch difference, it's more surface area. There's 44% more surface area if you plug it into the right formula versus the 5-inch. So I'll get the job done faster. What is your time worth? And then you have the RO 90, and it has a 3.5-inch pad. This, if you like wasting your time, is the perfect sander to sand a big surface like this. That's why you tackle it with a 6-inch. This 6-inch pad has 178 more % surface area. What's your time worth? I'll say it 100 times. So that's why I always reach for a 6-inch. So let's talk about the ETS systems, random orbit systems versus the RO systems, the Rotex. This has the random orbit in it, but when I take it and put it in the Rotex, it's now a geared random orbit. It's much more aggressive. So when I'm leveling, I choose this random orbit sander because it's really aggressive. It'll get me to and through that 40 grit leveled a lot quicker than a typical random orbit. So over the years, I've heard a lot of people talk about the Rotex and say it's too much sander. It really isn't. It's all on how you use it and your technique. Really simple. It's very aggressive in the Rotex mode. So what you want to do is you want to keep the pad flat. So what I like to do is hold it underneath here and just turn the switch on here. This is still in Rotex mode. And you'll see it's very aggressive. If I held it like this, it starts to jump. So remember, you don't concentrate your sander in one spot. There's a little ridge here. A lot of people would go, oh, sand this and then I'll sand here. No, you sand the whole panel. And the technique I like to use so I don't get any cross hatching is, you'll see, I go back and forth, to and fro, okay, overlapping the pad, and then 6 to 8-inch circles against the rotation. You'll feel it tug a little, and that way there, if I do that pattern, I'll end up with a super flat panel. subscribe. Okay, so the first pass, I went back and forth this way with the grain. And when I look at it and analyze it, I've removed a lot of the witness marks from my glue up. I still have undulations in here. But now I'm gonna go back and forth and we'll see and we'll analyze the surface after that. So it sounds funny. I really don't like the sand, but you know what? I think about it over the years. I think I've spent half my life sanding. Okay, so this is what's really cool about using the Rotex in the Rotex mode with a 6-inch pad and 40 grit. I went back and forth, to and fro. Now I'm gonna do 6 to 8 inch circles. With the lighting, I can see the cross hatching in here. I'll eliminate with the sander next in the 6 to 8 inch circles. But guess what? I am almost completely level. There's a little undulation right here, and I'll take care of that. But the rest of it, I think I've accomplished the leveling already. That's amazing. It shouldn't surprise me, but if you do that sanding pattern with the right grit, you'll accomplish it so much quicker. And guess what? That's basically dead flat right now. Now, I'm gonna take the 40 off, okay, and switch to 60 and do the exact same pattern, to and fro, back and forth, and then 6 to 8 inch circles. So another tip I'll show you, when you're putting and lining up the holes, it's real easy. Find 2 holes, line up 2 holes, just like that, perfectly, and the rest just fall. Okay, now that we've accomplished what we wanted, we leveled, right? Now we're gonna take the 60 grit and remove the 40 grit scratch pattern, and you can see it right here. Come in here, cameraman. You see that? That's all we have to do is remove those. And then after we do it and have a 60 grit scratch pattern, then we go to the 80, remove the 60, then we go to 120 and remove the 80. Now that I have a 60 scratch pattern on here and I remove the 40, now I'm going to jump to 80 grit to remove the 60 grit scratch pattern. Okay, so as I near the end of 80 grit and all grits, you're gonna notice I take the sander off. I never stop the sander while it's running on the material. That, if you do, you're gonna end up with swirl marks. A couple of things I wanna show you as we get to the 120 grit. I'm gonna put this on, and there's a couple things I like to do. First, this is where I start sanding in random orbit with the Rotex. This gives me a 5mm orbit. The next thing I'm gonna do is wipe the surface clean, because there may be some grit left over from the 80 that will continue to grind in. I want a nice clean surface, so I'm only sanding with 120 grit. I sanded to 120. Let's look at the results. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flood a little area in here and wipe it down with some mineral spirits and use the light to look at how I did. I always analyze, if this was gonna be my final, I still gotta do some stuff. This is gonna be the countertop, or one of the countertops for the laundry room, but I wanna analyze it. I will probably do another pass of 120 when I'm finished, but I look and there's not one daggone swirl mark on there. It is coming out absolutely perfect, but I look at the whole thing. So I still got a lot of sanding to do. I wanted to step all the way to 120 with you today to show you the proper technique that I use for flattening, to eliminating swirl marks, all the techniques on holding the sanders. This project is far from finished. I got to do a final dimension on it. I got to do a drop edge for the countertop, because this is going to be part of the countertop system for the laundry room. But I wanted to share that with you, because the #1 topics over the years I always have received is about sanding and the right technique. And it's super simple. Is it time consuming? Yes. Do people skip through too many grits or skip trying to get to the end to put a finish on? Yes. The reason a finish fails is because of an improperly prepared surface. So take your time in sanding, use the right techniques, use the right paper, and use the right sander. So the other top question I have had on sanding technique has to do with grit. Depending on your finish, and when I say finish, there are certain finishes that recommend no more than 150. Some say 120. I have never sanded above 180 because you lose absorption and you lose adhesion point for your finishes, and you lose depth of penetration. So never sand raw wood above 180. So I just wanted to share that sanding knowledge with you. This is the way I was taught growing up. It's worked out perfect for me all my life. I've seen too many people skip the steps. So I have to have a question for you. What do you have in your shop, 5-inch or 6-inch sanders, and how do you use them? Let us know in the comments below. So as we always say from the Sedge Tool shop, be positive, stay sharp, and we mean woohoo, wicked sharp.